sometimes the only thing standing between you and the life you deserve and you desire is the story that you tell yourself. You can't score a touchdown being on the sidelines, but you sure can if you're in the game. All change starts when you're brutally honest that you're disturbed by standing still. Need motivation? Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 and 9. For my top 10, top 10, 9 and 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Dean Graziosi, and my take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy.
Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Focus on the outcome.
I get up at 5 every morning and I go work out. There's hardly ever a time in history that I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go, oh my God, I'm so excited to go in the gym and work out and like just do it, especially leg day. I freaking hate leg day. Hate it. I don't kind of dislike leg day. I hate leg day. Okay. But when I focus on, I got to get up, I got to take a shower, I got to do my little routine, which we'll talk about later, got to find the energy, get in the mindset. I want to write this down about my ebooks or about audiobooks. But if I let myself go down the road of, oh crap, I got to get up, I got to do legs, I don't want to do it. But when I focus on the outcome, there's also never been a time that when I'm done working out, I don't feel euphoric. I don't feel amazing. I'm like, I did it. I accomplished this today when I didn't want to. I also focus on the example I'm setting for my children. Their father working out 6 or 7 days a week is just, that's what you do. It's not a thing you do when you're overweight. It's not a thing you do when you're not feeling great. It's just what you do. It's like brushing your teeth. It's like saying please and thank you. It's just what I do. My kids already know it's a part of their life. Kids don't do what you say, they do what you do. So that's an outcome. I'm not focusing on lifting the heavy weights or doing squats. I'm focusing how I'll feel afterwards and the example I set to my kids. There's a third thing I focus on. I love having more energy than anyone half my age. I don't know if it's ego. I don't rub it in your face. I just love it. People always say, I love your enthusiasm. I love your energy. It's a part of me. I don't want to lose it. Focus on the outcome 5 times more than you do. Now, why do I say 5 times? Because I just made that shit up, right? And thank you for the happy birthdays for Luca. I just made it up. I just know it needs to be significantly more important in your life to focus on the results, not the effort that you have to put in, right? Now, is that the same way with food? Okay, my wife, I have to be honest, loves desserts. She says, no, I don't really like sweets. BS, hon, if you're watching, love you, you love sweets. Now, she only does it a couple days a week, but I'd go 6 months or a year without, never once, not even a consideration. Have a nice meal. I don't look at the dessert menu. They bring it, I'm like, no, thank you. My wife's always like, what are you doing? I'm like, I haven't had dessert in a year. Now, my wife will want to have dessert 3 times a week. And I guess she can because she looks amazing and she works out really hard, but it doesn't sit that well with me, right? So when it's time for dessert and the cake's passed around, I don't go, oh my God, I'm gonna miss out on this cake. It's probably so yummy. What I think about is the end result. If I say no to that cake, that's a moment of, I wish I had it. But it's a lifetime of health. It's a lifetime of not ever dealing with diabetes or being overweight or not having the energy to play with my kids. Me, I have a 4-month-old. I'm 51. My wife wants 3 or 4 more. No exaggeration. I better keep my ass in shape, right?
Rule number 2, review your priorities.
If your goal is to start your own business, but your priority is, even if you don't realize it, is to spend 3 hours a day on social media just wasting time, or to binge on Netflix episodes because you want to make sure you watch every single one. I'm not saying any of that's bad. But don't confuse priorities. If you say you want to lose weight, but it's a priority to you to eat what you want when you want because you're stressed, because you deserve it, because you work hard, well, then stop lying to yourself. Your priority is eating what you want when you want, and you're never going to lose weight. If you say you want to start your own business, but your priority is to be scared and work for a boss that's draining your life, or your priority is, I just need to make enough to pay the bills every month. I'm not saying that's bad, but don't confuse and feel conflicted when it truly is a conflict. So what I'd love to say today, and I literally am doing this exercise, and I do this probably quarterly, unless I forget, and then I was reminded today, is I want to see what the priorities in my life are. I mean, this is what I believe. I believe the priorities in my life are my children. I love being a dad. I love being a coach. I love being at all their baseball and softball practices, not just their games. I love being there to listen to them. I love being there to make breakfast for them and teach them lessons and have conversation in the car while we're going to practice. Like, that's a huge priority to me. Another priority to me is to continue to grow as a human. I want to not only conduct masterminds and create great courses. I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to be at masterminds, to learn from other courses, to learn from other teachers, so I can continue to grow. And the priority is not to learn through my own trial and error, to learn from other people's as well as my own. But I also know that sometimes I get sucked into saying yes to too many companies, and my focus is diluted. I know my priorities are, sometimes I go on social media to work, to do a video, to check what the competition is doing, and I get sucked in and 2 hours go by, and I can't afford 2 hours in my life. Somehow those things have creeped in to be a priority. I also know that I don't work out in the afternoon. I don't. And unless exercise is my number one priority about my health, when I wake up in the morning, my priority might be checking email first, just to see if I could fix something before I go to the gym. And guess what? When I do that, if there's something there I don't like or something I need to fix, I'll spend the time and fix it right there in the moment. And then 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes will go by, and I'll go, I missed my window for the gym. Maybe I'll do it later. And I never do. So it's not really a priority. And when it is a priority, I work out first. Now, here's another thing. Another priority is when I go to the gym, sometimes it's like, can I be there, work out, get some text messages done, and then still get an exercise in? No. And I've been slacking for the last 6 months trying to juggle that. Not in the last couple weeks. But now my priority is back, that I want to be the healthiest I can. I have 9 and 11-year-old kids. I want to be 90 and still running around with my grandchildren. That's a freaking priority. And I had to set that priority straight. As much as I think it, this is the part that I want to share with you. I hope this is making sense. I know what my real priorities are that I want. But am I really making it a priority in my life? When I make my morning routine a priority, my days crush it. When I make eating healthy a priority, I eat clean with no worries. I don't miss the sugar. I don't miss the sweets. When I make a priority to be the best shape of my life for my children, I go crush it at the gym. When I make it a priority to never stop learning, to keep creating, I shoot great videos. I work hard. I want to change lives. I want to impact people because it's my priority. All those things, you can't do all of them at once, I understand that. But if they're all a priority in my life is badass, included in there being a great dad. Those are my priorities. But guess what? Let's not fool ourselves. When the procrastination kicks in, something else became a priority. When you're wasting time on video games, something else became a priority. When you're ignoring your kids, maybe your job became your priority. You're ignoring your spouse or not giving the attention you need, giving back. You're wanting all this stuff, but you're not giving back. Something else became a priority. So all this is today is a call to action for you. That's what this podcast is about. I want you to get your priorities in check. And don't think you have to make it perfect today. Today, you should just start saying, where am I spending attention? Because where attention goes, life flows. And things will get better. If you're paying attention, if you're focusing on, if your priority is eating too much food, you will get really good at it. If your priority is smoking cigars, you could get really good at it and know all those. But is it healthy for you? I don't know. Priority of getting good at gambling. I don't know. I'm making shit up. Okay. My whole point is, check the difference between what you think you want, what you think your priorities are, what your priorities, what you know in your gut should be, compared to where you're actually spending your time, because where your attention goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, results get better. And results can get better in the wrong direction.
Rule number 3, call out disempowering stories.
Know where you are, be honest. Know where you want to go. Most people don't. Know why the hell you want it. Get emotionally charged. Get your heart involved. And then what's the how? The how is the bridge. We're talking about the how. Right now, this is the how stuff, right? So, but what stops so many people, I want you to think about this, what stops so many people to go from where you are to where it is you want to go. And if you're on this watching me right now, there's someplace else you want to go, another level of income, life, freedom, control of your life. Sometimes between the bridge, the how should be there, whether it's real estate or stocks or the internet or your business or your company, whatever the how is. But what's in there too is a story. And sometimes the only thing standing between you and the life you deserve and you desire is the story that you tell yourself without even realizing it. And I'm going to just encourage you as we go through this is to look out for those disempowering stories. Whenever you're going through this process, when we talk about it, you might go, you know what, I'm really good at negotiating. I'm good at selling. And then all of a sudden the story will talk, salespeople are cheesy. And then you got to be a salesperson. And then what if you had to quit your job to be it? No, that's probably not. You know, my uncle was a salesperson and he tried and he was kind of lame. And then he went broke when he was older. No, sales is bad. Okay. And subtly your body told you that story without even realizing it. You got a little anxious about it and you retreated back to the way you are. Or you have a story, I'm just use real estate, for example. It's like, you know what? The hell with this. There's $1 trillion in cash coming in the real estate market this year. No more sitting on the sidelines. No more doing a deal every 3 months. I'm going for this. And all of a sudden you remember someone else who lost all their money in the last real estate bust because they weren't educated. They weren't getting capabilities like you are. They didn't have the path. But that doesn't matter. Your subconscious, your ego, your emotions told you that. That story popped up and you go, and then you dabble. Right? The story will make you dabble. The story will make you not jump in with both feet. And then the story is self-fulfilling. Like, see, I knew that wouldn't work. No, you have to call that story out. When you feel it, when you see it, when you're dreaming, when you're looking to that new level and this story pops up that was your parents or your cousin or a teacher or a self-defeating belief that you got off the news. When that story pops up, you need to recognize it. Call it out like it's a thing. It's not an event. It's a thing. Call it out and go, oh, what is that story? Write it down. I can't make money in my area because it's too small. It's too big. It's moving too quick. I don't have the money. I don't have the education. I don't have the people. And then go prove it's crap.
Rule number 4, do it yourself.
Who could you be doing this for? When you want to get up and work out, when you want to take the run, when you want to just take a walk, when you want to say no to the unhealthy food. You know, when your friends are like, oh, stop eating like a bird. Stop eating like a cow. Eat some real meat. Eat some food or whatever it is. Easy to go, you know, they're probably right. I deserve it. I work hard. Or do you go, no, I'm doing this for my wife. I'm doing this for my husband. I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for my 70-year-old self. You know, it's really hard to teach kids to do better things now so they don't get sick at 50, 60, 70. Really hard. They can't see that far in advance. But I talk to my kids like this all the time, and I know it sinks in at some level. It's like, do this for your 60-year-old self. You want to feel great? I mean, I have some dear friends I went to high school with. I love them to death. But 51 hasn't treated them so well, right? 51 hasn't treated them so well. This is not, I pray for them. But I remember when I used to make the harder choices, you know, I always say, live the hard way now for an easier life later, or live an easy life now for harder later. I can remember times with some of the exact friends when I'd make healthier choices or different choices or go to the gym after a night of going out with them and get home at 2 o'clock and at 6 o'clock I'm at the gym. Like, you're crazy. Who's crazy? Like now they're like, I literally have one friend who's like, why didn't I listen to you? He's going through a really tough time health-wise, right? Same age as me. Harder now to live a better life in the future. So who would you do that for? So find a who and think about them. When you feel like eating wrong or making bad choices or not going to the gym, who would you do it for? So what's up, man? It's good to see you. I see you all over the place. I see you hustling. I see you impacting lives, doing amazing stuff on YouTube. I want to share whatever works for, you know, your following, my following today. But I want to share, dude, your book, Built to Serve. You are built to serve. There's a difference when I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years. I've been in the self-education industry for 24. Doesn't even seem possible. But there's a lot of people that when you kind of meet your heroes or you meet the people behind the book, a habits book, a built to serve book, a time management. It's like you meet the guy with the time management book and he's late getting on stage and stressed out of his mind in the green room. Like, there's no congruency is what I wanted to say. And before we chat today, I just want to honor you and give you congruency. What you wrote in this book is really who you are, man. You are built to serve. You reach out to my team all the time and want to help with YouTube and tell us what we're doing wrong. And you're not doing it because of finances. You're not doing it because you're trying to get an edge. You're doing it just because this is who you are, man. So I love seeing you out there. I love seeing you grow. I love seeing the impact you're making.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. I'm still working on accepting compliments, so I'll just say thank you.
Oh, then I'm going to keep doing it through this entire thing to make you feel uncomfortable.
Oh, great. Classic Dean. All right, cool. Well, you know what? Also in that story, you've been really helpful in getting that book out. I remember when I came to Puerto Rico and was trying to get feedback on pre-launch, you and Brendan Burchard took time backstage while you're doing your big event. People paid all this money to come there, and you took time over lunch for 40 minutes to do a deep dive on my strategy. And just super grateful that you guys did that. And you hooked me up with your warehouse and, a whole bunch of things that Dean's a big reason why the book has got out there.
Just a little piece, man. Just what's up, everybody. I see the highs. So listen, appreciate everybody. I see all the cool comments coming in. So how can we deliver some value today? How do we help out? Besides, I do got to plug this. Like, if you didn't check out Evan's Built to Serve, you should check it out. The truth is, I'm not all the way done. I freaking love it. My biggest problem is every book I read, Evan, I listen. I have such a hard time reading. I still have dyslexia. It still doesn't stick. So it's taken me longer. But when I actually read a book, it sticks. So highly recommend it. And it's just you. It's like it's having a 200-page conversation with you, which is always cool.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. Well, I also have an audiobook version. I read it myself, so there's always.
Oh, dude, please send that to me.
Rule number 5, be enthusiastic.
I want to talk about enthusiasm will always outweigh perfection and preparation. I told you all that stuff about the things I'm not so good at for a reason. Because I got through life, the first part especially, by being enthusiastic. My enthusiasm outweighed that I'm not that intelligent, that I don't have a great IQ. All I know is there's so many people that will obsess on making sure everything's perfect before they engage, making sure everything is prepared perfectly, and years go by. You're much better off getting enthusiasm and jumping in the game and learning as you go. Jump out of the plane and hope the chute opens on the way down. Hope. Most of the time it does. You can't score a touchdown being on the sidelines, but you sure can if you're in the game. So I want you guys to give yourselves a break right now, because some of you, if it is real estate, you haven't made your first deal. You haven't talked to a seller or a buyer yet because you're thinking, maybe I'm not an expert yet. I need to get a little more prepared. I need a little more time under my belt. The hell with that. Get in the game, get enthusiasm, and just take action. Action creates momentum. Knowledge without action is just good reading, like we said before. And when you find enthusiasm, let me just back up. So where do you find enthusiasm? And here's what I say, is I borrow mine from the past. When I want to be enthusiastic, I look backwards on times that I was scared and still did it. On times when I thought it was going to go wrong, but I made it happen. On times where I had incredible accomplishments. At times where I felt amazing, felt alive. It could be something completely different. It could be a first relationship. It could be anything that lights you up. And borrow that enthusiasm and put it in today's time. Because what it does is it also changes your state of mind. Because here's what I know, when your enthusiasm is down, when you're thinking about everything being perfect, when you're thinking about one step at a time, are you in the right space to take action? When your confidence is down, do you take action? Or do you say, how about when your confidence is down just a little bit and you watch the news? Or you get a friend tell you, oh, stop dreaming, or the economy's gonna crash, or the market's gonna crash. If your confidence is down and your enthusiasm is down, how does that hit you compared to when you feel on fire? right? When you're down and your confidence is just 10% off, you go, well, yeah, maybe things are good enough the way they are. Maybe I'll just leave it where it is. The hell with that. Borrow the enthusiasm from the past and attack each day.
Rule number 6, be honest with yourself.
And it starts with you being completely honest with yourself on where you are right now in history. Where are you after COVID? Where are you that the world has changed? Where are you with your confidence? Where are you with your income? Where are you with your career? Where are you with your happiness around those things? Where are you with your relationship? Where are you with your health, your connection to a higher power? There's lots of things we can use this tool for to get completely honest, because let's just say it like it is. All change starts when you're brutally honest, that you're disturbed by standing still. You're disturbed by inaction. Think about it. That's how we move. That's how the rocket gets off the ground, is being disturbed with leaving your life the way it is. So unfortunately, you're like, oh, now I'm listening to this podcast and I'm going to get disturbed. Yes, because if you're agitated, you move. Right? So let's pick your career, your income, what you do for a living. Where are you with that? Are you happy with your career? Are you happy with the business that you started? Are you happy that you started the business, but it's not really going where you want? Listen, we all make decisions for one of two reasons. We're either moving away from something painful or we want to move towards something pleasurable. Right? We either have to get out of this job, or we lost our job, or it's just toxic, or it's not making me the money. I have to move. Or life's okay. It's not bad, but you know you have another level. You know God designed way more for you than you're doing. And the inaction of either one of those should disturb you, either away from the pain or towards the pleasure. So at any time, you could stop and write this down, or come back at another time, or type it in your phone. If you were being completely honest about your income, your career, what you do for a living, starting the business or not, any of those, if you were completely honest, where are you? Because all change starts with a starting point, right? All directions on your GPS, you need the starting point. Where are you is the starting point. Now that the world has shifted. Sometimes, things like COVID pull back the curtain and make us really analyze our lives. And we don't want to go back to who we used to be. I get it. I see it every day. Okay, the next thing, if you know where you are now, then we have to decide, where do you want to go now? Right? Now, where do you want to go? That sounds like an obvious question. I want more success. I want more happiness. I want more joy. If it's not defined, if it's fuzzy targets don't get hit. We need a definitive plan. We need to know exactly what our compelling future is. We need that lighthouse to drive towards. And what is that for you? Most people know what they don't want. That's just a true story. Most people know what they don't want. They're avoiding potholes. They're driving away from problems, but they're not driving towards where they want to go. If you and I jumped in an elevator together and I said to you, hey, it's a year from now and it was the best year of your life, what's that look like? Where do you want to go? Would you be able to literally in 4 or 5 sentences tell me where it is you want and where you want to go? Or would you go, wow, good question, Dean. Let me think about it, because that's what 90% of the people say. I've been asking people for over a decade. Good question. Let me think about it. How do you know? How can you get to where you want to go if you don't have your GPS on where it is you want to be?
Rule number 7, focus on your strengths.
What are you good at, or what do you love to do? That's the point of this. And then I want you to combine it with something. And again, I rambled there and went off on a family story, because I'm hoping at the same time you're thinking, what am I good at? What I like to do? We've spent so much time doing what we're supposed to do, doing what we're told to do, doing what we think we should do, doing what we think will take care of our family, think will protect us, that you forgot that you are a badass in so many things. What lights your heart up? What excites you? What makes you want more? What vibrates you? What do you do? And when you're doing it for an hour, you get more done than you do in a day or 2 days of doing something else you're not. I don't want you to think how you're going to get there. I don't want you to think how it's possible. Let's take real estate, for example. Do you love negotiating the deals, finding the deals, doing the paperwork, selling, buying? What is it that you love to do? I'm talking about the things you like to do, you're good at, that can be combined with the biggest check, and then both of those together are driving you towards your vision. That's what successful people do. That's what people in Strategic Coach do. That's what my top students that are here in my mastermind do. They know what they're good at or like. They continue to get better at it. And they keep saying no to the things they suck at. They know their vision and they combine what they're good at and what they like to do with the things that can make them the check. And that's the things they do because that's going to drive them towards their bigger future, to where they want to be in a year. I hope that's clear. I think I repeated it a couple times, but that's one of the biggest secrets to success, knowing your unique ability and then actually utilizing it and not being stuck doing busy work, not running on a treadmill, not driving your Ferrari with no GPS. It's time to say no to the things that don't serve your bigger, better self, don't serve God, don't serve the universe, don't serve your family.
Rule number 8, obsess with impact.
Why are you doing this? Maybe it's just because when it's time, you have the gas in the tank. You have the ability to do it, right? I'm not doing it for the money at this phase of my life. I'm just being honest. I'm doing it for the impact. I'm completely obsessed with impact. Why am I here on a Saturday when I haven't spent time with my kids, my wife? I've been so damn busy. I'm here because I'm obsessed with impact. I'm obsessed with delivering this message. If you get one thing out of this today that shifts your health, your energy, your vitality, then I did my service here on a Saturday, right? But why do I want that energy? To be able to do this. You watch UPW? Some of you did. Did you see Tony on stage? Tony looks 60 years old. The guy went 13 hours on day 3, or something like that, 12 hours on day 3, 10 hours on day 1. How? Because of some of these things we're sharing with you today. Not rocket science. I don't have the book on vitality and youth, and I don't have any magic like needle that goes in your arm and makes you numb. I don't have a magic pill that gives you, I don't have a magic energy drink that does it for you. I'm just giving you the stuff that you could do. Everything I'm sharing with you today, you have the hold on. You have all the ingredients you need right inside of you, right? So we're gonna dabble between mindset and strategy and tactics, right? So why do you want it? I have some whys. So I have gas in the tank when I need it. There ain't nobody that outworks me. No one, and I love it. Maybe I get significance through that. Okay, I get a little significance that I can outrun, outwork, outthink. And I don't mean think 'cause I'm the smartest guy in the room. I mean clarity of thinking. You know how cool is it that I can go 12, 13, 18 hours and still be freaking crystal clear at 51 years old? Like crystal clear at 2 o'clock in the morning when everybody's like, I can't even think straight. It's my 5th cup of coffee. I'm like, no. How does that happen? that's not the way I was born. I developed this. I created this. It's like a power plant. A power plant doesn't have energy. It creates energy. These little things that seem like little things are actually things that creates my energy. Everybody asks, how do you do it? Like this, okay? So why do you want it?
Rule number 9, crush imposter syndrome.
One of the biggest things we always get is the whole imposter syndrome or I'm not good enough. Right? But what if your children or your hypothetical children grew up and felt like imposters? What if they felt they weren't good enough? What if they let self-doubt push them into a job they hate, but they thought, well, my mom took this job and she stuck with it. She stuck with it for 42 years and she put us through college and she took care of us. If my mom could do that, then you know what? I'm not that happy with this, but I kind of feel like an imposter, so I'm just going to stick with it. When I say that, does that give anybody else like the hair stand up in their arms of like, no, screw that. If my daughter came to me and said, hey, Dad, I love you. Good to see you this weekend. How's it going, babe? Well, you know, I got that job. And well, I heard you wanted to have your own art company and be a designer and design companies and all that stuff. Yeah, Dad, but you know, I didn't get the best grades in school and you know, I don't want people to think I'm just living off your coattails, so it's okay. I took that job. You know, it's a good job, great benefits. If I saw her with that kind of expression on her face, I would die. I would die. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Life's too short. It goes by in a second. Like, you don't realize it now, but how fast is time going right now, right? Like, we don't have time for that. And if we feel like the imposters, if we allow that to dominate our space, that's what we're giving out to the world. We're letting people know it's okay to let self-doubt, to let past accomplishments create this imposter syndrome to say you're not good enough. And even if you think it's not a part of you, in so many cases it is. Because if you're not moving forward as fast as you think, there's still one area of your life you think you need to get better at. You may never get better at it, and that's okay. What if you're absolutely perfect for where you are? I still can't read good. I'll never be able to read good, ever. I will never be able to spell good, ever. I will never not want to throw up when I see an Excel spreadsheet with more than 3 lines on it. I will never like having meetings with too many people on the phone. All like, just like anything, like there's so many things I will never be good at.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is know your why.
If we know where we are and then we know where we want to go, the next most important thing and the most important thing to shift your life is, why do you want it? Why do you want to have more freedom? Why is it that you want to sell more courses, sell more training, start the business, scale the business, make more money? Why? Is it just to have financial freedom? Not usually. Is it just to have money in the bank? Not usually. Is it just to get the Lamborghini and the Rolex? Not usually. It's always way deeper than that. It always, you don't know it until you feel it ding your heart, till your heart goes, oh, it crunches, it aches, you feel it ping. When you feel that, you know you're in your true why. For me, when I dug into this decades ago, I realized my true why was that I didn't want to go backwards. I didn't like being broke as a kid. I didn't like wearing hand-me-downs. I didn't like go to school sometimes and not have lunch money and pretend I wasn't hungry. I didn't like watching both my parents work hard. 3 jobs, my mom 3 jobs, my dad 2 jobs, to not have anything. I'm not going back there. I don't like it. There was nothing good about it. Money was the thing that ruled my parents. I feel blessed that by the time I was 32, I retired both my mother and my father. What a blessing I was able to do that. But I don't want to go backwards, and I'll fight for that. I also want my kids to have choices. I don't want 2 entitled children, 3 entitled children. My little one, Luca, is a year old right now. I don't want entitled children or brats, but I want my kids to have choices because I didn't feel like I had choices as a kid. So for me, it doesn't mean this is your why. This is my why. This is the one that dings my heart. But my main reason why I want next level success and abundance and impact the world and make a difference is because I want to be in control of my life.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you just get inspired, you watch a video, you get motivated, amazing. The science says you have a 35% chance of actually doing something, actually following through. That, Believe Nation, is not enough. That is not you, not now, not anymore, not today. But when you get inspired and then you create a specific plan of action for what you're gonna do, that number jumps to 91% chance of you following through. And when you commit publicly to others, like leaving a comment in this video, it jumps to 95%. So the question of the day is your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below, and maybe next week I'll profile you.
9 out of 10 people know what they don't want. Ask them, what don't you want? Boop, 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 boop. Stop them. What do you want? Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe some more money. No, that doesn't work. It's like being in a car going 100 miles an hour with no GPS. You're going to get nowhere fast, right? Or drive off a cliff, right? Or it's being on a treadmill and you get something new. If you don't know where you're going, you just put the treadmill from 5 to 7. Still not going any place. You're still running in place. We need vision. So I want you to, if you haven't ever gone through that, go through the exercise. I'm really thinking it's a year from now. It's the best year of your life. You're looking backwards. What does that look like? Create that vision, create that clarity. And then think of the things that you like to do, that you're good at doing. Combine that with how they can get you the biggest check, right? So combine what I like to do, what I'm good at, how can that get me a check, and how can I do more of it to reach where I'm going to be in a year from now? You see, we live in a crazy busy world. Technology has just allowed us to do a lot more in the same amount of time. We all know that. We can agree on that. And if you don't have clarity, if you don't have a vision on where you want to go, you're going to say yes to too many things. You're going to say yes to everything, and there's no time left for the things that can bring you to that next level of life. That's why we're all going nowhere. Somebody said, I'm going nowhere fast. Yes, Sandra, thanks for saying that. But that's what we're doing. You know what it is? Sandra, you're saying yes to too many things. You need the vision and clarity of where you want to go. And remember, yes got you out of Egypt. No will take you to the promised land. You are an achiever. You're here. You're success oriented. You do more than most people. You're used to saying yes. Now it's time to go, this is where I'm going. I'm going to say no to the things that don't serve me. And this is the important part. Write this down. Think about it. I'll repeat it. You're going to say yes to the things that are more in line with your unique ability, that you love to do or you're good at, that are combined with a big check. The only reason you think about money is because there's not enough flowing into your life. Because when money flows into your life, you get to be your best you. And the only reason I'm sharing that is because so many people have this deep-seated fear of making extra money. Listen, if you can cut a check for a problem, you don't have that damn problem anymore. You worry about your kids, if you can cut a check, worrying about credit card bills, worrying about your business, worrying about your parents. If you can cut a check for that problem, does it solve the problem? We still have to work on us. It doesn't fix us, but it solves a lot of problems. So when I ask you why you want to make more money, why you want to diversify, why you want to have a new stream of income, I just want to give you this little example. I hired a consultant to help me be better with my students, get more people engaged to take action. He said to me, he sits down for 2 minutes, he goes, well, did you ever teach them the 7 levels deep of why they're doing it? I said, no, but if it helps them, give it to me. He's like, no, you have to go through it or else I won't give it to you. I said, fine, I'll go through it. So the whole thing is, I'm gonna wrap this up quick, is whatever answer you said when I said, why do you want to make more money? Ask the same question again with that answer. So my first answer was, I want to have an incredible company that changes the world while I make great money and can help other people. That was my first answer. Sounds noble, right? Sounds like that's all from the brain. That's solid. That's who we are. We got this company. We're going to change the world. But then he said to me, Dean, why is that important for you? With my answer, why is it important for you to have a solid business, to help change lives, to make the money? And I gave another message from my head of, I want to set the standard in my industry and get rid of all the crap. And I did about 4 or 5 answers. So I want you to do this tonight. Go through this 7 times. But what happens around the 4th time you ask yourself that question, you flop from your head to your heart. So I got to the 3rd one and I said, I never want to go backwards. Don't even know where it came from. As a kid, we were broke as crap. I mean, I wore hand-me-downs. I got dropped off far from school so the kids wouldn't make fun of my mom's junky car. I was homeless at one point with my parents. We had no place to go. I'd lie and tell my friends I had no money at school. I'd tell them that, I didn't feel like eating because my mom didn't have the bucks so I could eat that day. Now, it's not poor me. That shaped me. I love every bit of it. But I hated it, and I realized I didn't want to go backwards. I said, that's it. And he said to me, no, Dean, we're not done. It's 7 levels deep, not 5. So why don't you want to go backwards? And it just hit me. And I remember I got emotional. I got goosebumps. I said, I never want my kids to experience what I went through. I don't want to raise entitled kids, but I want them to have options. I'm like, that's it. I'm done. And he's like, no, there's one more. I'm like, what there could be? And it just hit me. I said, I want to be in control of my life. My parents got married 5 times each. If you're military, you moved a lot, you know what it's like. Every time you have friends, family, new school, you got to move. I moved 20 times by the time I was 19. And I just realized at that very moment, I wanted to be in control of my life. I wanted to dress the way I want. I wanted to do the work I wanted to work. I wanted to raise my kids the way I wanted. No one was going to tell me what to do in my adult life, and that was my why. If you're having a tough day, your business is kicking your ass, and you just think you want emotional or financial support or financial freedom, it's not enough to get through a tough day. But when you know your true why, I went on stage for years doing this week after week, and I had a woman come up. A woman yesterday said she wanted to make money to travel the world. It reminded me of a woman came up, her first why was, I want to travel the world. After 7 levels deep, she got to number 1. You know what she said? She goes, my physically abusive husband left me 2 years ago. On the way out the door, he said, you're a pathetic loser. You'll never amount to anything. And she goes, I'm going to show him wrong. Screw him. That was her why. Is that a stronger why than just wanting to travel the world? I had another guy stand up and he said, I want to change the youth in my neighborhood. There's not a lot of dads, no support. I want to create this company. I've already started making money. I'm going to take it to a next level. What a strong why coming from his head. You know what his number 1 was? That his mom died before she knew that she set a good example, and he showed her he was a loser while she was alive, and he was going to show her he was a winner in her death. Is that an incredible why? I know I've gone on stage in front of 10,000 people, and I thought I should have more PowerPoint, I should have more reminders. And I just remember walking out and saying, I'm here to help rise these people up, to give them capabilities to change their life. It's my vision, it's my goal, it's my obligation to use my unique ability to just help these people and live from my heart. And all I could think about is changing these people's lives. And when I got out there, I wasn't perfect on stage. I wasn't robotic and say the right things, and I didn't have the crisp, clear PowerPoint. But when I spoke from the heart, it overcame all of that. And I get to be one of the best presenters wherever I go because I speak from the heart. Now you might be saying, Dean, that's your unique ability, and maybe that is. But I know for you in life, there are circumstances where you have to prepare. You have to do a PowerPoint. You have to do a presentation. And I want to tell you, passion and from the heart always, always wins over prepared and thinking from the head. Well, let me just ask you something. Right now in the crazy presidential race, the GOP race, Ben Carson is probably the smartest guy when it comes to book smart out of the whole group. And I don't watch the news a lot, but I just read a lot. And somebody said this the other day, and it just hit me. Someone said, man, Ben Carson is probably the smartest guy in that GOP race that's going on, whatever you think of it. And I'm not going to share my opinion. But you know what the guy said when he was done? He's like, but we all know the smartest guy never wins. And I was like, wow. We all know that the smartest guy never wins? And what does that mean? And it's kind of what I'm sharing today. I'm not saying you shouldn't be smart. I'm sure, and so many of you are probably way smarter than I am. But what I want to tell you is enthusiasm and passion and living from your heart, to me, 100% of the time outweighs being over-prepared and robotic and trying to think what to say. I hope I'm getting the right message across today. I've had this question from so many people. How are you so easy to talk on camera, on stage? And I never have a good answer. And I really thought through it, and that's the answer. I am here right now doing this video for you because each week I want to deliver you a nugget that you could just place into your life and make a tiny shift towards a better life. So I don't need a teleprompter. I don't need a script. I come here and just want to deliver, and it's coming from my heart. Now, I have practice. I've been on video for 15 years. I've been doing these for 7, 8 years. And maybe that's not what you do, but you're still going to have these circumstances where you have to talk to your children, talk to your coworkers, talk to your employees, and talk to your employer. And if you get stuck in your head, that's when you get stressed, that's when you get worried, that's when you try to remember what to say, and you leave and go, oh, why did I say that, or why didn't I say more? But if you can go in and say, why am I going in, and live with passion and have it come from your heart, then that's truly you, and you're giving the answers you're supposed to from the real you, not the facade that sometimes life makes us wear. What stands between us and where we want to go is never what we think it is. It's not the economy, it's not the president, it's not that somebody already dominated the health food industry or dominated Facebook advertising or dominated TV advertising or there's no room left. It's never that. It's always the story we tell ourselves on why we can't achieve that. And if I wanted to boil it down, I would just say, what is your biggest why? What's your biggest goal that you would love? If it was a year from now and we were sitting here, you're watching this and it was a year later and it was the best year of your life, what would be the biggest thing that would have changed in your life? From money, income, family, love, intimacy, being a better dad, mom, whatever that is, if you say to yourself, I would love that goal. Like I'd love to have my company doing $1 million a year in net profit so I could have freedom for my family. Then just say but. And whatever that but is usually your story. It's like, I would love my company to be doing $1 million yet, but I live in a smaller town and there's just not enough people to do it. Or the internet's so saturated, there's no room to advertise on Facebook anymore because everybody and their brother's on. Whatever that story is usually your story, and that's the results you get. And that story is the thing standing between you and your next level. And I know people are watching right now going, oh, Dean, that's nice. You guys got money now, so it's easy. I don't have any money. I don't have a partner. I don't have any business experience. This economy's not right for what we do. And where there's that old saying, where there's a will, there's a way. If your story is that's what you'll continue to get. So what I would say is, if I was going to boil it down, is find what that story is. Now to you might be saying, Dean, you're saying it's a belief, it's reality. And maybe it's phase 3, but reality is nothing more than our perception of a situation, right? We all know that. You've read that about, you've watched it on Tom's show, everybody has said it, but maybe this is the first time you actually think about it, that reality you think is holding you back is really just the story. So there's 2 things I say, is go find somebody else with that same story. Like go look at your evolution, where you were on your couch, no money, right? Go look at Richard Branson's story. Look at Tony Robbins' story. Look at, John Paul DiGiorio or all the amazing books I've read every book in there. That's amazing, the people that you've got to interview and meet. But read all those stories and realize that, first of all, that story you have is probably a lie, right? So if you can find proof, like leverage that it's a lie, that's one thing. But then the one that would get me is I love aspiration. I love to look and say, look what you did, man. I want to get there. If he did it, I can do it. But sometimes you need the pain as well. So what I like to do is I like to think, take that story and think it's 5 years from now, and think it's 10 years from now, and you're still in the same exact spot you are now. You're still worried, you still have envy, you still want more, you desire more, you want to take care of your family, you want to provide more, and think that that story, those 2 sentences, is the thing holding you back. Do you really want to give that story that much power? And then think it's 10 years from now, and that story is still done. And all of a sudden, for me, I think, am I gonna let that story stop me? I brought my son with me today. Am I gonna stop from giving him the opportunities that I didn't? I have 2 children. I'm not raising entitled kids. I wanna give him massive opportunity. I don't wanna leave him a trust fund. I'm gonna leave him massive opportunity and train him. I'm not gonna let any story get in the way of me being that dad. And if a story pops up that says, hey, I can't make baseball this week because of this, I'll change the damn story. I'll fist fight with that story. And I'll look at the pain I'll have if I keep that story. So I love the aspirational part of this story will stop me from my new life, but I also are you gonna let that story screw you around for the next 5, 10, 15 years? I mean, man, we're gonna be 90 laying in a bed looking up like before we know it. And do you wanna think I squeezed all I could out of life, or did I let just beliefs that other people gave me hold me back? How many people do you know, maybe even you, have a job that just kills you? It's draining your energy, you hate going there. Maybe even a company that you started that you thought was gonna be exciting, but it's just robbing the life out of you. Or even school, maybe you're in college or even high school, and it just, every moment of it is frustrating. And here's what we do. We think to ourselves, when I get out of this job and I start my own company, then I'm gonna be fired up, then I'm gonna be excited, then I'm gonna take my life to the next level. When I get out of school, I'm gonna do it. When I throw this company away and I start the new company, and guess what? That's the worst thinking. That type of thinking will keep you exactly where you are. So let me just give you an example. I don't know if you know this about me, but when I was in my teens and my 20s, I worked on cars every single day of my life. I had a collision repair shop. I got wrecked cars and people brought them in and I fixed them. I sucked fumes every day. I had dirt under my nails. Every night I was literally scraping under my nails trying to get piles of dirt out. I changed motors. I rebuilt carburetors. I mean, the worst thing I hated was painting the cars because I got such a headache. Even though we had good ventilation, I'd get such a headache from the fumes. But that's what I did. Did I love painting cars? No. I absolutely despised it. I hated every bit of it. But I was lucky enough to realize that how you do any job is how you do every job. And what I had to do was find things that were exciting in that job because I knew it was the stepping stone. So here's what I believe. So many people hate what they do, their lack of energy. When you don't like something, you're not enthusiastic, you're not excited, you're not nice to people. So you're just thinking, I'm gonna get in this groove, but then something's gonna snap and then all of a sudden I'm gonna be amazing, I'm gonna be excited, I'm gonna find that new job, that new career. No, you have to start now. So what you have to do, like I did with the collision shop, is you have to find a way for that dull job, that thing that robs your energy now, to be exciting. Yes, you do. As hard as that sounds, do it to the best of your ability. And guess what? Opportunity comes along in places you won't even realize that there's an opportunity for you. Example. So I'm in the car business, hating it, but I found a way to be enthusiastic because what I liked is I liked the fact that a car would come in wrecked. I could visualize it looking perfect again and visualize how excited the person would be to get their car back to new. So when I was working on cars, I didn't think, I got Bondo on my fingertips, paint on my nails, I got a headache from the fumes, I'm dirty, it's sweaty. If I thought about that, everything would have sucked. But what I thought about was how excited the person's gonna be when they see their car back to normal. And I found a way to be enthusiastic and excited. If you asked anybody, they'd be like, that guy loves collision work. It's not true. I wasn't lying. I found a way to manipulate myself. So in that instance, my first big real estate deal, I did several with no money down, worked my butt off to get it done. But my first big real estate deal that after years was the first deal I did over $1 million on, true story, in my little town in upstate New York, a town called Marlboro, New York. And guess who I did the deal with? Somebody who came into the collision shop and I did work on their car, lent me the money. Because I was so enthusiastic, so excited, such in a good mood. The guy's like, how do you have so much energy? How are you so excited? I said, well, this is just a stepping stone for me. I'm working on real estate deals. I've done a few and working on this bigger one. He's like, well, why aren't you doing the bigger one? I'm like, I'm trying to put the money together, but I'll get it. I know I'll make it. That guy lent me $80,000 just like that. And he made a ton of money for it. I mean, I was so appreciative of the loan he gave me. I did everything in my power to make sure that deal crushed it. Out of all my years of doing this and being lucky to sell, I wasn't a scientist of selling. I was just I had an innate ability to sell through that passion. And then you get your 10,000 hours in and all of a sudden it becomes good, right? Yeah. So on the job training,
of course,
right?
Of course.
But when I look back, and if I go off in an area that you want to reel it back in, but people buy from you, will love you, will learn from you, will give you a promotion when they feel understood, not when they understand you. And that was one of the biggest lessons ever. When you watch someone who is so full of knowledge, so full of wisdom, and wants to sell their product, sell themselves, get the raise, close the deal at the boardroom, they always want to just exude who they are, their credentials, what they have, and how they could solve the problem. And that will get you so far. Like, being great at sharing who you are will get you out of Egypt. Understand how people feel and letting them feel understood will get you to the promised land, right? So when you go to an audience or you're talking to close a deal, most people want to share. Most of the time you just need to be quiet and find what's going on in that person's life. Be an expert at the temporary state of mind. Like, understand what they're going through at that minute and let them feel understood. When you let people feel understood, when someone's watching you, and you do an amazing job, dude. I've been watching you forever, and I love what you do. But when someone watches you and go, man, that guy gets me. He understands where I'm going at. He understands my struggles. He understands where I want to go. That's someone I can hitch my cart to, rather than someone who's got great credentials and tells you can go, I understand that person, but I don't think he understands where I'm at. Right. And so the two things when it comes to an infomercial, comes to anything with persuasion, the two things I always tell myself is, how do I make sure that person feels understood? And secondly, how do I enter a conversation going on in their mind, not mine? You know, when you were on your sister's couch, you had different struggles, right?
Absolutely,
now I come to Doheny Drive in LA, you're in a completely different world, a completely different space, flying to the White House and all this stuff that you got going on. The conversations in your head have changed dramatically from when you were on your sister's couch to now.
Yeah.
So what happens, and I've watched this with marketers and people in business, as they evolve, they hit a certain, you remember that pain, that passion, the desire for more. I mean, you could probably close your eyes right now and remember that desire and thinking, am I ever going to make it? And even a little bit of envy for maybe some of your buddies who made it, or a little jealousy. Doesn't mean you wished ill thoughts on them, but it's like, damn it, they made it. I don't have it. What if I never get it? If you remember that pain, if you remember that process, you remember that thoughts, you will always serve anybody watching who needs that. But what happens to some people is, as they evolve, and you're going to join the country club, maybe you're going to get married, you're going to move to the suburbs, now you got an accountant and you got 2 assistants, and now should I hire a sales team? Got a private jet, and then is the pilot going to be late? And then you're like, I got a Facebook team. Should I outsource the Facebook marketing? And all of a sudden, your conversations change. You get to do an interview, or you pitch on camera, or you do an infomercial, and all of a sudden you're having conversations in your head, and your audience feels disconnected. And you don't even know why. You're like, what did I miss? Because now you're asking questions of a completely different group because you've evolved. So the two things, again, I always go back to, even before I turn the camera on, before I go on stage, before I do an infomercial, I said, people buy from you, love you, adore you, will learn from you if they feel understood. And I want to enter conversations going on in their heads, not mine. So David Kekage is a friend of a friend, really, but I've met him a couple times. Great guy. And he was paralyzed from the neck down, a guy that was into health and fitness and taking care of his body. And living in a wheelchair, not being able to do anything for himself, he's thrived on a whole new level and does so much for innovating and helping other people with the same circumstances. But the reason I'm sharing this is because he did 30 Kekage credos to live by. If you want to live a joyful life, and this is somebody in a wheelchair now. Remember the obstacles he has every single day when he wakes up, can barely swallow on his own. I mean, think about that, right? So one of his credos is if you live life the hard way, it's easy. And if you live life the easy way, it's hard. And here's what I equate that to. We have to pick our pain. Think about that. Now, let's just use a silly analogy. Is working out easy? No, it's a pain in the butt. Going to the gym, it might be hard. It's painful, right? But not exercising and not working out, will that be painful someday in your life? Will it be that you're out of shape and you get heart failure? Will it be out of shape and you're overweight and get diabetes? Will it be out of shape that you don't have muscle tone and you break a hip someday? I mean, you might be young, not thinking about that now, but living the easy way of no working out, can that be more painful? Absolutely. What about eating healthy? Can it be painful to eat the right food and not choose the greasy fried food and not get up and have a coffee and a donut and try to have green juices and live green veggies and eat lean protein and do those things? Is that a pain? Yeah. And it's kind of hard. It's the hard way. It's the hard way, but it gives you an easy life. So you're full of abundance, joy. You feel healthy. You want to thrive. You can run. If you have kids, you can move, or when you have kids someday, or you can live to see your great grandchildren, right? So living the hard way, meaning do the right thing, eat the right food, work out, might be a little hard, but that's the path to an easy life. If you want to live the easy way now and not work out and eat terrible food, maybe it's temporarily easy, but will that give you long-term health and satisfaction? And even if you make the money without your health, are you really wealthy? Heck no, right? But think about that also with your success. This is the Millionaire Success Habits podcast. But the foundation for success is if I gave you the tools to make money, but didn't share with you that you should be fulfilled and satisfied and healthy, then I'm just a fraud. Because it all ties together. If you got money out of the way today, the next thing you would be worrying about or thinking about is how do you live the best version of you? How do you be the best mom, dad, son, brother, cousin, spouse, right? So I want you to think about it when it comes to your next level of income, next level of long-term wealth, or starting a side business. The easy way is hard in the long run. The easy way is to settle for the job that you're in that's killing you. The easy way is to look for a magic money machine online and not spend time with your habits. The easy way is hope that someone does it for you. The easy way is to hope the government changes the rules and more money comes to you. That's all the easy way. And what do? You sit around and hope for years and years and years, and then you look back at the end of your life and time is gone. You look back at the end of your life and you go, I wish I would have gone after it harder in the beginning. So the hard way may be listening to podcasts like this, reading books like Millionaire Success Habits and all the other books that come from people that are actually doing it, or get enrolled in courses, or get involved in a mastermind, or dig deep to find the research to know if you're in the right path, if you're in a future-proof industry or not. Yeah, that might be a little harder now. It might be harder now to wake up when everybody in your family tells you you're insane, when your friends and relatives say you should be happy with the life you have, or people tell you you don't have enough money, you don't have the right education, you don't live in the right area, you don't have the right pedigree, you didn't get the right degree. People can all tell you that. And it's hard to overcome them. It's hard to overcome getting up and going for it. It's hard to overcome procrastination. It's hard to overcome getting sucked into social media. Go check your bank account and 2 hours go by going down rabbit holes of stupid things. That's hard. It's hard if you're in a relationship and the other person thinks that you should be strict and steady in your job and do the right thing and follow the rules. It's hard to step out of the line when 98% of the world listen to somebody else. They live a mediocre life. They live an okay life. Do you want to live an okay life? Or do you want to live an outstanding life? Do you want to live a good life? How's your relationship? Good. How's your health? Good. How's your income? Good. How's your job? Good. Do you want to live good? Or do you want to live excellence? Do you want to live great? Do you want to live an outstanding life? If we do, then David Kekich has it right. The Kekich credo that if you want to live the hard way now gives you the easy life. The easy way now gives you the hard life.
There's a part actually that I wanted to go over in your book called the 7 levels deep. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And this is an exercise that you do, right? And what is this exercise for? Okay. And how does it go?
Okay. So 7 levels deep was probably the biggest impact, the biggest thing in the impact of my life ever.
Really?
Yeah. One day. So I hired a guy named Joe Stump. Do you know Joe Stump?
No.
great guy. He's in the marketing world, but I hired him because I want more engagement with my students. So it's all about, if you can get somebody to digest some of your book, if somebody will read 30 pages of your book, they'll read the whole book. But how do you get them to the first 30 pages? So I'm always obsessing and trying to create ethical bribes, whatever I can do to get you to take action, right? We know books work. It's the books and the action. So anyway, so Joe comes in and I said, I want to do whatever I can. And he said, have you ever done the 7 levels deep? I don't know where he got it from. This is probably about 8 years ago. She was 2. So about 8 years ago. And I said, well, if it's good, just give it to me.
Right.
I'll take it. I'll take it. And he's like, I want to go through it with you. I'm like, listen. And I paid Joe $10,000 for half a day of consulting at the time. And he's like, I said, I don't want to go through. I just want it. He goes, I won't give it to you unless you do it. So we sit there. And what the 7 levels deep is finding, everybody wants to know your purpose and what's this meaning of life and what's my why and all that. I get it. And it's kind of played out. But I don't know if anything really gets to the heart of it as simple as this. So what it basically was, he's like, why would you give me $10,000 for half a day? And I said, because I want to create a company that stands out from everybody else. I want to engage more students, change more lives. And he basically said to me, that's a really great answer. So I asked you why I'm here. And you said you want to engage more students and get more people to change their lives. So why is it important for you to engage more students and change people's lives? And I remember saying, there's a lot of people in this industry that shouldn't be here, and there's some great people. I want to help rise all boats of the good and push the rest out. I want to leave a legacy for my kids. So he said, okay, I asked you why you paid me $10,000. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. And he's like, you did this. You said you wanted to stand out and you wanted to leave a legacy. So why is it important to leave a legacy? And the whole point is asking the previous question 7 times. I took that day. By the time I got to the 3rd question, what happens is when there was 3 questions left, I should say, he asked me 4 times, it switched from my head to my heart. And I felt my physiology change. I felt my emotions change. I felt like tears welling up. And when he asked me, and I don't even remember what the 4th thing I said, but the 3rd thing I said was, I never want to go backwards. And he got me thinking about things I haven't thought about in years.
Wow.
I didn't like being the kid with hand-me-downs, and I'd make my parents drop me off down the street with their junky car, and I'd go to lunch. And this is not a poor me. My life was designed to be exactly the way it was, or I wouldn't be the man or the father I am today. But there was days I'd go to school without lunch money, and I just tell my buddies I'm not hungry because we didn't have a buck, right? So I never want to go back there. And I felt that emotion, and it hit me so hard. I'm like, that's what it is. And he's like, well, there's 2 more left. So he said, Dean, why is it important that you never go backwards? And I'm like, God, I don't know. And it hit me, and I thought, my kids, I just want to give them options. I don't want to raise entitled kids or brats, but I want to give them options that I didn't have. And I'm like, that's it. So he's like, well, that's not really it, because it's 7. It's not 9. It's not 5. It's 7 levels deep. And by now I'm crying because I'm thinking about my kids, literally. And I got half my staff there, and I'm like just weeping. And it came to me. He said, why is that important? And it just hit me. And I never knew why I worked so hard since I was cutting firewood in high school and did all this stuff. I said, I need to be in control of my life. And these emotions flooded in my parents. Everybody's got their thing, right? But for me, and I'm saying this because I want you at home to be, or when you're watching this, listen to this. I realized that my parents were married 9 times when I was a kid. So I moved 20 times by the time I was 19. Different stepbrothers, stepsisters.
Both parents were married.
5 for my dad, 5 for my mom, 4 for my dad.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's crazy. Always moving. Like military kids know what that feels like, right? So I'd be in a cul-de-sac with a new stepdad, stepbrother, stepsisters, have the bike, come home one day, and my mom's like, we're moving again. And then I move in with my dad, move in with my grandmother. So I had this crazy hopscotch my whole childhood.
Certainty.
There was no certainty. So what I realized at that moment, literally, I'm bawling loose. I mean, like literally crying. It's like, I don't want anybody to ever tell me when to move, how to dress, how to live, how to work, how I'm going to raise my kids. It's definitely not going to kiss somebody's ass for money. Right. And I realized at that moment, my why was I don't want to be a control freak. I just want to be in control. When I was 27, I retired both my parents. I stopped worrying about them. I took care of my grandmother. I take care of some, so I got those problems out of the way. And when I anchored that in, and you watching at home, it's like, if you think you're watching this because you want to be an entrepreneur, or you already are. If you're watching this, you've already had great success in your life. You want that next level, or maybe it's income, or better health, or better diet, or better physiology, whatever it is you want. So many times we think it's because I want to get out of that job. I want this freedom. I just want more money. I want to take the better vacations. And it's 7 times deeper than that. And when you find that, and the reason I know this, not only because it wasn't just transformational to me, is I did live events in Las Vegas for 6 years straight. Every single month, there was 400 people in the room that paid $20,000 to go to
real estate events, right?
Real estate events. So about 5.5 years, I did them every month in Las Vegas. So once a month, I'd fly in, And that was like the highest level. And every single month I'd pick somebody out of the audience and I'd say, come on up, let's do this 7 levels deep. Like, I got it, man. I know what it is. And I'm like, okay, so like, I'm gonna give you a quick example. I won't beat this up, but this is so important because when you feel fatigued, when you want to say no, when you don't want to go to the gym, when you don't want to make that sales call, when you don't want to get your funnel working, when you don't want to start new, when you don't want to say no to someone you should say no to, or say yes to someone else you should say yes to, literally for me still, I fall back on my why. And when I think of my kids and going backwards and being in control, I could push through anything. Nothing will stop me. A bad day. I don't know what it's like to be sick because my mind, I can program my brain to just power through because I focus foundationally on this why.
Right.
So I remember this guy, he was awesome. This big dude, he had dreadlocks. He was like 6'7". I mean, 6'5". He was huge. This awesome dude. He comes up. He's like, man, like picked me up. He gives me this big hug. He's like, so I said, why are you here? He's like, I already know, dude. You're not going to get 7 levels on me. You're not gonna. I've already done the exercise. He says, I'm here because in my neighborhood, there's no dads. There's not enough dads in my neighborhood. I grew up without a dad. These kids need dads. So I'm making money in real estate and I'm starting this youth group. I already had we get dads together and we go spend these days. He had this amazing story. And I melted on the first one. And I said, well, why is that important? He goes, dude, what do you mean, why is that important to you? Of course it's important. And he's laughing, he's joking, and he gives me another reason. I want more money because I want to build a building for it. But I could tell he was still in his head. He gets to number 2 or 1 and everything changed on him. He gets small and he starts crying. I mean, like uncontrollable crying. And he gets to his number 1. He's like, my mom raised a good boy, but when she died 9 years ago, I was a drug addict. And she never saw the man she created. And she said, I'm showing her in heaven what a man I'm saying it right now. I got physical good. Yeah. He said that. And he said, I'll never stop now. I'll never stop. And again, we all have our own reasons for doing stuff, but when you get to the heart of why you're watching, why you do what you do, it's so much deeper than what you think. And I forget sometimes. I hope I don't sit here and seem like I got my life all figured out. I've been blessed to have I've had more blessings in my life than I ever could imagine. If somebody would have told me at 25, this is where I'd be, I'd say impossible. So I appreciate my blessings, but I'm not perfect at all this stuff, but when I practice these habits, when I think through this, when I recognize my why, the days that I'm off track, the days that I think I bit off more than I can chew, or the days where I feel like I plateaued, when I go back to that why, it's like game over. You're not getting in my way. Nothing is. My stepdad, who has been my stepdad since I was 9 years old, so I've known him for 41 years. He was my mom's high school sweetheart. They went to the prom together, and then he went away to the Army. She married my dad, and then they got back together. Great guy. 2 days ago, he had a stroke in the middle of the night. Kind of haven't slept much since. Had a stroke, and then the next day he had a heart attack. And he's not doing so great, and I've been spending a lot of time with him. And I see him sitting. He can't talk because of the stroke. And I see him looking around and looking at his family and looking at my mom and his kids. And I just know it's like you've heard so many times in the book, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. You know that Covey talks about coming to the end of your life and literally being in the hospital and hearing the buttons and the beeps and hearing people talk about you. When you look, who do you want to see? Who do you want to be there? And what do you want them to be saying about you? Think about that. Now, I'm not trying to be morbid. I'm just in this space for me personally. But here's what I know is how long are you going to put off what you crave so bad? If you're watching a Millionaire Success Habits or listening to a Millionaire Success Habits podcast, you want another level of life. But there's things in your life that right now you should be saying no to. Right now, you should be saying yes to and going after. But we think we have all this time. Listen, my stepdad, he's young. He's only 76 years old. I bet to say, looking through his eyes, that he just felt like he'd have forever. Listen, today, I'm more personal in the podcast than I am in any other place. Today, I broke down and cried in a way I haven't in a really long time. I'm parking so I can talk here. I broke down today and I cried really hard. I cried because some of it was just looking through his eyes and I could see the sadness of wow, is this it? Is it over? And I'd love for you to just take a moment and think about if this was the end of your life, what should you be saying no to right this second? What should you be saying yes to right this second? Here's what I know.
people who say money can't buy happiness or money doesn't make you happy, to me, you haven't made enough and you haven't given enough away. So get rid of that money is evil thing. That's just foolish. I'm blessed to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it because I got money out of the way. That's great. So you might be saying, good for you, Dean, but I'm just saying, what I'm saying is, if money is important, that next level is important so you can pay for speed, so you can pay for freedom, so you can pay for control of your life, then freaking go for it. But find the balance. Find out why you're doing it right now. What does success mean to you? You know what it means to me in my life right now is that I get to do what I want when I want with my kids. They're 9 and 11. They're growing so fast, I can't slow it down. So I want to coach Little League. I want to coach softball. I want to go to every game. But here's what I know. I've even slacked. And you know, I love doing this training. I love sharing with you because if I'm not congruent, if I don't share a message that I actually live, then I'm kind of full of shit, for lack of a better word. I'm just someone babbling. You're not here because you just want to hear someone talk. You want to hear someone who's been through it, who can admit their flaws. I love saying this and love talking about it because I screw this up sometimes. I want to tell you something. This is really personal. Today, at 4 o'clock, my daughter, she's 11, she pitches, she's a great pitcher, she made the all-star team, but today they're going to the local high school team that's really good, Arcadia High School. And I got them tickets, I got them all set up, but I had work to do, so I was going to let them go and all her friends. And screw that. Because of what I'm going through with Lenny and seeing that, what am I going to get some more emails done, work on my next $1 million? I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying, what am I going to do? Or when I'm on my deathbed, am I going to say, I wish I answered more emails, or I wish I went to that softball game with my daughter and watched her face when she saw high school girls play? Not even a question. Then at 6:30, the game's at 4, at 6:30, I missed my son's last 2 practices because I was really busy. But the 2 before that, I've been coaching him since he was 4 years old. Coaching, assistant coach, glove on, out there, getting dirty. But I have to tell you, this last year, I've kind of let the coaches coach, and I sat back on the bench and answered emails and got work done. I figured it was a great place to get 2 hours worth of work done while my son was out there. And I realized today, screw that. You see what's right here in my passenger seat? That's my baseball glove. Today, there's shorts. Look, I got a pair of shorts in the back seat. I'm going to change it in the car. And today, I'm getting dirty again. I'm going back and practicing with my son again today. Screw that. When I'm where Lenny, my stepdad's name is Lenny, where I'm where Lenny is, I'm not going to be saying, boy, thank God all those baseball practices after the age of 9, I got all those emails done. No, screw that. I'm going to say I was on the field looking at my son in the eye, him watching me be intent, be in the moment, live in the now.
If you want 10 more amazing rules from Dean, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
When you change your mindset on money, when you gain the capabilities, and when you take action, it is, in my opinion, you could disagree with me, in my opinion,